I already told the chairman and the chief executive and Pallavi Garu that I will not speak, maybe a few brief words. We'll make it interactive because speeches are boring. They're only there to satisfy the speaker's ego. We listen and we don't even listen, we hear them and it doesn't really register. The greatest benefit we can give ourselves is to stimulate thinking, to inspire each other, to search for answers to the complex challenges that we face in the world today. So I'll probably make a few points in a few minutes. My request is let's have a meaningful interaction. There's a lot that you can teach, you have enormous experience. There's nothing that is original in me. I don't know anything about what's happening any more than you do. We only try and make some sense of what is happening and find an answer to our complex challenges. So let me make just a couple of points. You are doing an outstanding job. The Delhi Public School and the Pallavi institutions. But if you look at the bigger picture in the country, our education is in a perilous state. While the children struggle hard, the parents sacrifice a great deal. Governments spend a lot of money on education. Society values education. Even today, 46 years later, you're talking about my alleged success in the IAS examination. We celebrate success. Despite all the conditions being right, the outcomes in education are a disaster in this country. I want us to face this reality. I'm a great optimist. All of us love our country, our culture, our civilization. But optimism does not mean that we ignore realities. Optimism means we confront unhappy realities with confidence and change it for the better. Our education is one of the worst in the world right now in terms of outcomes. We have fancy degrees, 99% pass marks, high GPAs, all sorts of things. But most of it is useless. And in that desert, institutions like this are the oasis. They are showing what is possible. My first request is do not be content with the laurels. Just because you are doing better than the rest, in a country where education generally is underperforming, that's not enough. The country demands more, the country needs more to face the complex challenges. Let me give an example. Right now, we are in the midst of a war in the Gulf, which has a profound impact on all our lives. It's some thousands of kilometers away. But the lives of almost everybody, of about 7 to 8 billion people on planet Earth, are impacted very profoundly by this war. Not of our making, not of our choosing, but we all pay the price. Now, I don't want to go into geopolitical issues. We have to confront this in the short term, in the medium term, and the long term. Take the medium term. Short term is somehow we deal with the challenges, the shortages, but take the medium term. We have to find alternative routes to Strait of Hormuz to get that oil into the global markets. That means you have to probably have another pipeline of a much greater capacity, east-west pipeline. Right now, 7 million barrels a day is transported from the east coast of Saudi Arabia to the west coast to a place called Yanbu, to a port called Yanbu on the west coast, so that in the Red Sea, through the Strait of Bab al-Mandab, we can transport much of this oil. Now, 20 million barrels we are losing per day, 7 million we are transporting, that's not enough. We must get the balance 13, 14 million barrels, plus gas, plus some other commodities like fertilizers and sulfur to the west coast. It costs a lot of money, it needs technology, it needs speed of execution for the world. Within the next year and a half, the world must do that so that no matter what happens in future, even if the Strait of Hormuz is forever closed, the global economies are not affected. That requires imagination, that requires leadership, that requires technology. As a country, India, for instance, needs to aggressively pursue electrification, solar power, battery storage, and transport systems depending on electricity rather than oil, other technologies dependent more on electricity from cooking to everything else in the world, so that the oil dependence itself will substantially come down. If that did not happen in some measure in the last 10, 20 years, this crisis would have been much worse by now. Oil would have been probably $200 or $250 by now if the oil dependence of the world has not come down a little bit. We came down by about 10 percentage points in the last 20 years.